Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So today's video is just going over some recommendations for the Beautylish gift card event going on now through Sunday. So I'm going to be mainly focusing on some of the brushes that have recently come into stock that you can get for the sale, and then at the end I'm going to go over a couple of items that I'm considering getting for myself. I try not to get too caught up in these sales because I often find myself buying things that I don't necessarily really want. You know, I'm just buying it to get, you know, the $20 off or something, and you know, I end up with things that go to waste. So anyhow, the really exciting thing about what's going on right now is a lot of the very sought after Sonia G brushes are now back in stock, and you can get them during the sale. And one that I don't have but has been out of stock for a long time, it used to be called the Face One, but now it's called the Buffer Pro. It's shaped like this, except it's got a red handle and it's bigger. This is the smooth buffer. This one is also available right now, but this one's a little bit easier to get. So this one, the hairs are a little bit shorter and the diameter is smaller. So in her post, she said the diameter of this one is 20 millimeters and the Buffer Pro is 30. So it's quite bigger. And then the base is also bigger with the Buffer Pro. So I have a couple of videos dedicated to this brush, so if you want to see a demo of that, I have a lot of that. So I don't think I'll ever get another type of brush like this because I don't use finishing powder very often, and that is what I think this is best at doing. It really like kind of gets, I usually use like an hourglass powder, and it's really good at just kind of like blending everything in, like after you've done your bronzer, blush, and highlighter, and you know, like the little shiny area that we all get sometimes right here. It just kind of like smooths everything out. I already put powder before I started filming, so I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but it just, you know, if you have mature skin and you just want to give it that extra like smooth, poreless, flawless look, this brush will help with that. And it's just so comfortable, and I like the shape because it gets into these areas like right here, like by the eyes and then the sides of the nose. And for me, this is the perfect size. I don't need anything bigger. You know, some people do, and if you are interested in the Buffer Pro, I would get that sooner than later. And also her Pro face set is available, and that's been out of stock for some time. But you can get the Face Pro and the Inochige Pro as individuals, which is really exciting. I didn't think she was going to do that, but I just looked and I think they are just individuals. But the Cheek Pro you can also get as an individual, which is one of my favorite brushes. And the Designer Pro you can get on its own. You can't get the Soft Cheek on its own, but you can get the set. So I don't have all of the Sky face brushes. I don't have the worker fan because I don't use fan brushes, but I have these three. Yeah, so this, and then the Master Face, I didn't see that as an individual. I don't have that one. That one I am interested in getting, but I didn't see it on the site. So I hope that helps you guys out. The also the Pro eye set is available, and that's been out of stock for some time. I only have one brush, the Worker Pro, from that set. I don't have a lot of her eye brushes, and I don't use that one. It has nothing to do with the brush. It's just that I prefer, so like it's like a tapered brush. I should have picked it out. All right, so the Worker Pro, it's kind of similar to the Hakuhodo J5523, and as you can see, this has not been used very much. I prefer this one because it's fluffier and it's more flexible. This one is stiffer and this one is more tapered. So I just I don't know, I just really like this brush. This is one of my favorite brushes. But if you are someone that wants like a pinch ferrule blending brush and you do want something more tapered and more specific, this will put on a pretty heavy application of shadow. If you're looking to do that, then this would be a good one. This is just not my preference for this shape brush. But the Pro Eye Set has been out of stock for some time, but you can get most of them individually, so I don't think you need to really jump on that anytime soon. And you know, like the Face 2, I usually don't recommend this one because I don't really use it. I'm not sure why. I use it to like kind of just dust fallout off. But this has been available for some time, so you don't need to rush to get this one. The Detail Pro, I don't really think this is that necessary. It's a very nice brush. I use it for highlighter. If you have very deep set eyes, you can use it for eyeshadow. But I feel like I can get the job done like with the mini cheek, or even like a big eye brush, you know, if you want to just do very specific highlighting. But it is very nice to have, and I do use it. I just don't think this is like a must-have because it's easy to find something that will do the same thing. Okay, now I'm gonna go over some of the Wayne Goss brushes. So I don't think he released anything recently. The brush that I am eyeing that I might get, if I do get one of his brushes, it would be the Edit brush number 2 and number 6. So I did a video and I was about to buy, I think I was about to buy the 4 and the number 6. So the Edit series, except for the number 2, they're all very tapered. And I'll try to put a screenshot up just to show you guys, but I mean, you guys can go on and see for yourself. They're just different sizes of a very tapered brush. So it's just been very hard to figure out what size to get. But I think I've settled on the number 6 just for my eye shape and for what I need it for. I feel like that would be the most useful. So I'm considering the number 6 and the number 2. And that's the only one that is kind of like dome shaped like this. It looks a little bit like this, but it's shorter. And Kris from Makeup Brush Journal has a really amazing Instagram page, and she has a couple posts with really good pictures of that brush, and she talks about them in the post and goes over for, you know, more information, and that kind of sold me on the number 2. I just really like that shape, kind of like the flat domed shape brush. I just really am a sucker for that shape brush, and it's just, I love the way it has that calligraphy, you know, style. So those 2 I'm considering getting, but see, that won't get me to the $100 minimum. So then I'm in that, you know, predicament of having to find something else to take advantage of the sale. And I am really very closely eyeing the new Viseart palette, the Paris, it's called the Cashmere, I think that's how you say it. It's very similar to the Paris Edit. That's, yeah, this one, which is a really great palette. I just feel like this is supposed to be more purple. I was hoping it would be more purple, and it's actually more pink and beige. There's more like neutrals in here. It's really not as colorful as I thought it was going to be, but the Cashmere one looks like there's a little bit more variation, and I don't know, I'm possibly going to get that, and that would get me to the $100 mark. But you know, Viseart has sales on their website for usually like 40% off, and I've gotten most of my Viseart palettes at that discount. So I'm just not sure if I really want to get that now instead of waiting. And I'm pretty sure with the holidays coming up, Viseart's going to do another sale pretty soon. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I've never bought any of Wayne Goss's makeup, And I am very intrigued with the eyeshadow palettes. The thing that holds me back is you get a ton of product. So you get 6 colors, and the recent one that he released, the Tourmaline, looks really, really beautiful. I just don't need those colors, but also, you know, for $55, you get a lot of product. But for someone that has a lot of eyeshadow already, I'd rather get a smaller pan palette and pay less. So that's why I have so many of these Natasha Denona mini palettes. I love these. I have at least 3, and I highly recommend the mini Zendo. This is one of my favorite palettes of all time, not just the Natasha Denona palettes. I am wearing it today. I just really love the way these colors come out. I use all of the shades. Even this, like, there's this kind of pink shimmer shade that a lot of influencers were kind of saying it's not very spectacular, and it's not like this shade is super intense, super reflective. It's not like that, but I kind of like that about that shade, because I put that all over this area and it just gives it like that hint of sparkle without it looking too dramatic. So I absolutely love this palette. I cannot recommend this enough. I used it on a friend of mine who has like a little bit of a deeper skin tone, like a medium leaning tan, and it looked amazing on her. So I think if you have medium to like tan deep skin tone, I think this will look really great. Even if you have fair skin, I think this will be a great addition. I can't think of someone that wouldn't like this palette. It's just such a beautifully set you know, color story, and the quality is, you know, is the best. So I want to mention this one because Beautylish has this, and that's probably why I'll never get the Wayne Goss eyeshadow palettes. Oh, if you've been wanting the airbrush, that is still available, the Wayne Goss airbrush. It's now $45. It used to be $35, but it's still a fair price for a blue squirrel hairbrush. I do have that one. This is what it looks like. It's very flat. I use it to powder the under eyes, and sometimes I'll like use it to kind of powder everywhere. It is very fine, like it's very thin, so it's not going to hold a lot of product. So that's one drawback. Yeah, I have to dip back and, you know, do that a lot compared to the Designer Pro. So I prefer this over this because, you know, it holds so much more product and it's a little more substantial. This, you know, the hairs are very, you know, flexible. But this is such a well-made brush. This is my first Fude purchase ever, and I've washed it so many times and it's in great shape. I mean, it looks like almost new, and I've washed this so many times. So I don't know, this, like, it's not a bad deal, but I don't think you have to run out and get it. I think this will be available for a little bit longer. The number 3 is one of my favorite eye brushes. That one is available, as well as the number 4, which is just a smaller version of the number 3. Both amazing brushes. The number 3, I would say, is like more useful, at least for me. And he's got, I mean, most of his brushes are, his face brushes are still available. The number 13, which my understanding is identical to the Hakuhodo J210. That one is available. And the number 14, which I think is almost identical to the Hakuhodo G5538. And price-wise, I think about the same. So if you have this one, you don't need the number 14. But if you're looking for a long, kind of like flimsy blush brush, and you haven't been able to get the soft cheek, I would say the Wayne Goss 14 would be a pretty good substitute. It's very light. I also use it to powder. So if you want to put a very thin veil of powder on, this brush will do that. The Number 16, I love that for concealer. That one is available. And I love Wayne Goss brushes. He's the reason that I even know about Japanese made brushes. So I'm just always on the lookout for the next Wayne Goss brush. And it's been a while since I've bought a brush from him, to be honest. So, okay, so those were the two brushes that I'm considering getting, the two Goss brushes. And as far as the Sonia G ones that are available, I don't see myself getting any of those. I have almost all of her cheek brushes, and the two that have come back, I just feel like are going to be too big for me. I'm probably not going to make use of it. So I hope that helps you guys out, and that's it. I'll see you all next time. Bye.